Welcome to our web exclusive. I'm Mike Montecalvo along with Eyewitness News analyst Lieutenant General Reginald Centracchio. It seems like for the last possibly 3 weeks to a month, General, we've been talking about the possibility of ISIS losing Mosul. And we're recording this on Wednesday, tipping this on Wednesday. We're just almost there at this point.
What we see here as of today is that the special operations units out of the Iraqi army are poised at the very, maybe within several kilometers outside of Mosul. And once that happens, you know that they're poised for position to go in and take the city. Unfortunately, there's some real significant barriers before that happens.
All right, there are a couple of dynamics going on here. First of all, thousands of civilians are fleeing, waving white flags. Soldiers, ISIS soldiers, are also fleeing too. How do you distinguish between the two of them?
Very hard, and that's the problem. They're using those civilians as shields, and sometimes they're disguising themselves as civilians who are fleeing, only to come back in a different way and to do more damage. So what you have is a dichotomy, so to speak. Those that want to leave the city as pure civilians are being obviously killed by ISIS. At the same time, ISIS is using them as shields. At the same time, ISIS is trying to vacate the city and go to other parts of Iraq to start other considerations. We talked last week where they started another war or another front several miles outside of Mosul to try to take some of the resources away. So what you have is people who are trying to flee, legitimate civilians, and others are ISIS posing as civilians trying to vacate the area.
All right, so Iraqi forces are proceeding with caution, but when do you say, okay, we know there are civilians there too, but we just have to go in, barrel in, and just take everybody out?
I think they're at that point now. I think over the next several days, I think we'll see a definitive move being made for those special operations to go in first, and then other resources coming in after them. Problem is there's still an awful lot of IEDs along the route, as well as snipers, and the tunnels placing these IEDs and snipers are still a very real threat.
We're talking, by the way, about 600,000 children. That's kind of a high number. We don't usually hear a number like that.
Tremendous. If you take the state of Rhode Island and you try to just about our population, that's what we're talking about. You know, 600,000 kids. We don't have that many kids in Rhode Island. I think our total population is less than 1 million right now. But you try to take all the people in Rhode Island, and that's exactly what we're looking at in Mosul.
All right, look at it this way. So you know they have Mosul at this point. You're going to get them out of there, and you mentioned they're going to go to other cities in Iraq. Is that a good thing? I mean,
no, it isn't.
Wouldn't you want to isolate them and just take them out completely?
Well, you know, that's unfortunate, but we've, you know, several people have also already said we're advertising our moves and giving the opportunity for the leadership to leave Mosul. And so you may as well go in there and do what you have to do to take the organization out. But I think the leadership has already left, and they're probably positioning themselves in other places in that region. And unfortunately, part of the analysts talk about, well, they will export that terrorism to other parts of the world, to include the United States, if they lose Mosul.
Well, how do they do that? How do they get to the United States from that faction right there?
You know, from that faction is leadership. And with the internet and the ability to converse, we see that we have cells all over the world, and certainly in the United States. And I think it's just a matter of waiting for the word to go ahead and exercise whatever they're going to exercise, regardless of where they are. And that would include the United States, unfortunately.
Well, Shiite militias, they're known as the Popular Mobilization Units. They've joined the operation to take over Mosul. What happens when they take it over? Does that group stay in control?
You know, that's always been a question. That's part of the reason that, once again, we talked about this a few weeks ago. There's a hesitancy to go in too quickly because there's no stability once you're there. If you keep the military there, then they lose the ability to fight other places in Iraq. So there's a real concern that once you take Mosul, who's in control, who governs it?
You're talking about keeping the military there. What are the numbers like for the Iraqi forces? Can't be that high.
They're not high. You know, they have elite units. They have special operations, special forces, supplemented by United States forces and some United Nations concerns about the kinds of units they have. But the United States allegedly is not in direct combat. They're in an advisory role. So you don't have a lot of combat power, with the exception of the Iraqi army. Right. And that's very rare that they would have large numbers.
All right, General, as always, thank you for your thoughts, and thank you very much for watching.